What is Sir interested in?
Sir is very quiet and is very, very smart and does all of the number stuff.
I feel like some of you just do not know what children are supposed to act like because you beat your children into submission. So when you see a 7-year-old acting like a 7-year-old, you feel like something is wrong with them because you guys are still teaching your children to be seen and not heard.
It's autistic. So what? The world keeps spinning.
First of all, I was crying like a baby. Gail King and Oprah were there, and I mean, we were just in tears because it was so touching to see Beyoncé.
From the outside looking in, Beyoncé and Jay-Z have built what feels like the definition of a perfect life. We're talking chart-topping careers, billion-dollar brands, and a family that seems to float above the chaos of celebrity drama. Blue Ivy has practically grown up in front of us. Graceful, confident, already collecting awards like it's nothing. Rumi, their youngest daughter, is slowly stepping into the spotlight too, winning hearts with every blink and you miss it appearance. But then there's Sir Carter, their son. Born at the same time, raised in the same household, and yet somehow completely invisible. And that's where things start to get strange. Fans who followed the Carters for years began picking up on a pattern. While Blue and Rumi showed up in concerts, visuals, and even candid family moments, Sir was nowhere to be found. Not in crowd shots, not on tour, not even blurred in the background. At first, fans chalked it up to Beyoncé being Beyoncé. Super private, super protective. But lately, even the most loyal fans have started asking, what's really going on with Sir Carter? And then, someone close to the family slipped.
Somebody wants to join. Now let's go do our play date.
So here's where things take a turn that nobody saw coming. Out of nowhere, Richard Lawson, Tina Knowles' ex-husband and Beyoncé's former stepfather, drops a comment that sends the internet into full-on detective mode. Now, this isn't some random person on Twitter fishing for clout. This is a man who was once deep inside the family circle. Someone who sat at the same dinner table, attended private events, and probably knew way more than he ever let on. During what seemed like a casual conversation, Richard makes a remark that Sir Carter isn't just a private kid. He might actually be facing significant developmental challenges. And just like that, silence turns into speculation. No soft phrasing, no careful build-up. He just says it plainly, like the world already knew. Fans instantly caught the wave. Social media lit up with reposts, theories, and reactions that spiraled fast. What started as hushed curiosity about Sir's low profile exploded into a firestorm of questions. Was this why he's been missing from public life? Was this why Beyoncé and Jay-Z have been extra silent lately? And maybe the biggest question of all, why would someone that close to the family say something like this now?
Envisioned the type of man I wanted. I prayed for the type of man I wanted, and I got pretty much that. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. But, you know, he has a lot of the qualities. He has a lot of the qualities that that I love, and we're having a really good time, and I'm enjoying life. So there is hope.
Now let's rewind a bit. Because in hindsight, the signs were always there. Sir Carter didn't exactly fade from the spotlight. He never stepped into it to begin with. From the moment he was born, fans expected the usual. Cute baby pics, red carpet cameos, maybe a few soft-focus Instagram moments. But instead, it was like he slipped through a crack in the fame machine. No birthday posts, no playful vacation shots, no grainy paparazzi photos, nothing. Meanwhile, his twin sister Rumi was slowly getting more visible. She popped up in music videos, appeared on stage during the Renaissance tour, and even stole the show with spontaneous, adorable moments. And every time she appeared, people couldn't help but notice who wasn't there. At first, fans chalked it up to Beyoncé being Beyoncé. Super private, super protective. But the longer Sir stayed completely off the radar, the more people started asking quiet questions. Like really quiet. Whispers in fan forums, theories in Reddit threads, TikToks that danced around the subject without saying it out loud. And now, with Richard's comment out in the world, those quiet questions turned loud real fast. Suddenly, what once looked like privacy started to feel like a cover-up. Was there more going on behind the scenes than anyone realized? And if so, why were they working so hard to keep it hidden?
What does that mean to you? Tell us a little bit about Rumi and how excited
Well,
she is.
Rumi is amazing. She's an amazing artist, like painter and creator. And so, I mean, how could they be anything else growing up in that environment? That's all we talk about is
his creativity and fashion and the whole thing.
What
So,
is Sir interested in?
Sir is very quiet and is very, very smart and does all of the number stuff. So he's not into the fashions.
And this is where the internet truly lost its mind. Because right after Richard's comment made the rounds, a new wave of speculation hit. And this time, it wasn't just about Sir being kept out of the spotlight. The whispers now said something way more intense. That Sir wasn't just living a low-key life at home. He was allegedly staying in a full-time private care facility. Yeah, not a tutor, not a specialist dropping by the house, but an actual place. Discreet, upscale, and completely off the grid. The kind of place that's designed to offer round-the-clock support while keeping everything airtight from the public eye. And people had questions like, how long has this been going on? Why hasn't anyone said anything? And is this about giving Sir the best care possible, or maintaining the Carter family brand? Because let's be honest, Beyoncé and Jay-Z have spent decades building this flawless empire. Every move, every image, every quote is calculated to protect the legacy. So for something this personal and this sensitive to get out, that's a major crack in the surface. Some fans came to their defense immediately, saying maybe it was a heartbreaking but necessary decision. Others weren't so understanding. The word abandonment started popping up in threads. People were split right down the middle. Was this quiet strength or silent shame? No official statement, no denial, not even a vague response. Just pure silence. And in the world of celebrity, that kind of silence, it speaks volumes. Long before any of this came to light, there was already something about Beyoncé's pregnancy with the twins that had fans feeling like it was different. And now, looking back, it's like the puzzle pieces were always there, just scattered. In her Candid Vogue interview, Beyoncé opened up in a rare, vulnerable way about how rough that pregnancy really was. We're talking emergency C-section, extreme swelling, and weeks of bed rest before the twins were even born. At one point, she said they spent many weeks in the NICU, and she described being in survival mode, not even fully grasping how serious things were until much later. At the time, fans just sympathized. It sounded like a tough but ultimately triumphant story. But now, with everything that's surfacing about Sir, people are revisiting those details with a new lens. One twin reportedly had a heartbeat that stopped multiple times during delivery. She didn't say which one, but suddenly, a lot of fans are assuming it was Sir. And that maybe, just maybe, his early start in the world left more of a lasting impact than anyone realized. Even Beyoncé's own words about her son hit different now. In that same interview, she spoke so clearly about her hopes for Blue and Rumi. Bold, confident, fearless. But when she talked about Sir, the tone changed. It was gentler, more protective. She said she wanted to teach him not to fall victim to what the world tells him to be. That his magic lies in affirming his own existence. At the time, it sounded beautiful. But now, fans think she might have been hinting at something she wasn't ready to say out loud. By now, the internet was in a frenzy, waiting for any kind of response from the Carter camp. A tweet, a denial, a vague PR statement, something. But what they got? Absolutely nothing. Beyoncé and Jay-Z didn't flinch. Not a word, not a post, not even a rep trying to clear things up. And while that might sound strange for most celebs, longtime fans knew this was classic Carter behavior. They've always kept family matters airtight, but this time, the silence didn't feel like power. It felt like pressure. People started reading into every move, every quote, every tiny clip. That's when Tina Knowles, Beyoncé's mom, finally stepped in. Not with a big announcement, but in her usual warm, thoughtful way. In an interview, she talked about Sir in a way that felt both sweet and just a little rehearsed. She said he was quiet, deeply intelligent, and loved numbers and reading. Basically, the opposite of the fashion-forward, spotlight-loving energy of his siblings. She even shared a symbolic story about his favorite book, a tale of the smallest tree that turns out to be the strongest. It sounded poetic, hopeful, like a soft way of saying, he's okay, just different. And for some fans, that was enough. But others weren't buying it. They said it felt too polished, like it was part of a quiet campaign to shape a certain narrative. A way to ease curiosity without actually revealing anything. And when it came to Richard Lawson's original comment, total avoidance. No clarification, no walkback, just silence, and a deeper mystery. So here's where things get extra layered. Because it turns out, Richard Lawson might have said more than just a slip of the tongue. According to multiple reports, When Tina and Richard split, their divorce agreement came with strings attached. Not just your typical keep it classy clause, but a full-blown non-disclosure agreement. And not just about their relationship either. This NDA reportedly covered the whole family. Beyoncé, Solange, the grandkids, the partners, everybody. There was even a non-disparagement clause, basically saying, you can't talk trash, spill tea, or share anything that hasn't already been made public. So when Richard casually let that comment about Sir slide into a conversation, fans weren't just shocked, they were stunned. Why would he say that? Was it revenge? A mistake? Or did he honestly think it wasn't a big deal? Because for someone who's known the family for decades, who was part of Beyoncé's life long before the fame blew up, you'd think he'd know better than to even hint at something that sensitive. And that's what made it all feel so messy. Was this just a bitter ex crossing the line? Or was this someone who knew too much and finally decided he didn't want to play by the rules anymore? Either way, the damage was done. And with the Carter family keeping their lips sealed, the internet had no choice but to fill in the blanks. And when fans start connecting dots without a map, that's when the rumors really start to take on a life of their own. So now we're left with this strange space between truth and speculation, silence and oversharing. One offhand comment cracked the surface, and suddenly the world started spinning theories about a child who never asked to be famous. And maybe that's what hits the hardest. Sir Carter didn't choose the spotlight, but the spotlight keeps chasing him anyway. In a world obsessed with knowing everything, the Carters are one of the last families still guarding their privacy like gold. But when someone from the inside speaks out, it forces us to ask, is this about protection or control? Are they shielding Sir from judgment or from the truth getting out? Or could both things be true at the same time? One thing's for sure, this isn't the last we'll hear about it. The curiosity isn't going away, and the silence is only making it louder. So maybe the real story isn't just about what's happening behind closed doors. It's about how we react when perfection no longer fits the narrative. And if Richard Lawson was willing to break the unspoken code once, who's to say someone else won't speak next? The Carters might be masters of mystery, but the world? It's watching closer than ever.